What up, everybody? Just testing out some stuff here today, and just wanted to jump on live. I guess one of the things I'll talk about real quick is I just posted not too long ago that I have turned off most of my Calendly links and my calendar links, and so a lot of people are asking me, like, what's going? Did something happen with the company? Is there something wrong? Should I change some things around? Um, and the answer is there's nothing wrong with the company itself. That's not. It wasn't a decision based off of the company. But um, Ramon Ray, I'm sorry, posted the other day that there is, how many calendar links do you have? Like, I have, he has three or so his links. And when I looked at my calendar link and my Calendly, I realized that I had uh, over 35 or 40 ways for people to connect with me. And as I do some shifting in just my business model and how I am accessible, three things really came up. One, I was having way too many meetings, but not enough momentum. So, in other words, the calendar was full, but it wasn't fruitful because a lot of the calls I had that were coming in, although they were impactful, they weren't necessarily tied to revenue or aligned with full blown collaborations. And so um, I just am not in this particular season. I'm moving in a nor do I have the ability to meet with everyone. I'm no longer in that phase, and so I had to make some decisions on being able to continue and maximize the momentum that I'm gaining right now. And one of those was making sure that I wasn't having meetings that didn't make sense. Um, Number two is I am now moving out of what we call the growth stage, and so I'm now moving from growth into strategy and moving into growth, moving from those stage, or even looking at attention. How do you garner the attention? How do you flip the attention? Is just requiring me now not to be in that stage of just having full blown access. And it also means, like, when you're scaling at the level that I'm getting ready to scale at, or not even getting ready to, the level that I am now scaling, it just requires me to be a little bit more focused. And I think that focus is what gives us my third reason for cutting out a lot of my access, as far as people being able to automatically jump on my schedule. And that, understand, bandwidth is is a business decision. It's not personal. My energy isn't unlimited, and neither is yours. And so right now, in the near future, all of my conversations must align with the direction I'm heading, and not just where I've been. You'll hear me talk about in these upcoming things a lot about what I consider the was, the am, and will be. You know, who I was is not who I am, and who I am is not who I will be. And you have to be careful that you don't bring in your was strategies into your am season. And more importantly, especially when there is transition happening, you have to make sure that where you're going, you start preparing yourself. And my seasons are now shifting and the direction I'm going. So I had to cut back on all of that and the confusion of how people access me. And again, a lot of that stuff is not necessarily, I'm not calling out any people's names or anything else like that. It was also just an internal thing. It's an internal bandwidth business decision. When I tell my staff or someone, hey, hit me up with a 15-minute call, send that link to someone. When we went in there was just a lot of repetition. There's 5 different 15-minute links for all these different ways And then, you always get people who get the link and then never give it up. So when your energy is not unlimited, then you need to make decisions that require you to take a step back. And, what I call it is no more reactive scheduling. So for those people who are asking, why did you change out your schedule, and why are you making those changes? It's just really, it's that. It's when you move from one season to your next season, then you have to make decisions that don't always make sense to everybody else. And so that's it. I want to talk to you for just a few minutes because I am getting myself back into teach mode. Um, I want to talk to you from this subject matter. I feel like a preacher right now. I want to talk to you from the subject matter. Um, you don't need a funnel, you need a rhythm. You don't need a funnel, you need a rhythm. Now, please understand, please understand, I am a funnel guy. I believe in funnels. Funnels are what I build. Funnels are what my company builds. I believe in the customer journey. If you're a pastor or a preacher, I believe in the congregational journey. I believe that you have to always have a next. But what I've found in the last set of conversations I've been having with people is that they are looking at the funnel as if it is the end all be all and it's the actual fix to their revenue streams. So again, I need money. Let me run buy click funnels, whatever else is out there, and let me build the funnel because that is going to be the way or the end all be all to me moving on to whatever that is and making the money. But please, 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 it is not really that you have a funnel issue. It is the fact that you don't have a consistency in the rhythm of your revenue. Let me say that again. You don't have a consistency in the rhythm of your revenue. Funnels are automators. They are tools. They are the tools that you use to make things happen. But if there's no rhythm in what you're doing, you are not going to make money. In fact, what I often see is people reverse engineering other people's funnels. In fact, they're copying other people's funnels and thinking that that's going to have something to do with changing their business model, when that's not really the case. The way to make your funnel work is for you to have a good rhythm. So let's just kind of talk through this. If you have not consistently thought about how to move your offer from one step to the next step, or better yet, how much promotions you're going to do inside of your funnel, then you have not created a revenue, nor have you created a cadence. Say it with me. I don't have a cadence or a rhythm. A rhythm is having this repeatable plus sustainable plus an aligned offer that is consistent in how you operate, how you deliver, and more importantly, who you are. Understand that your offer or your funnel isn't about hustle, it's about harmony. Let me say that again. It is not about hustle, it is about harmony. Is your funnel or is your offer harmonious? Do you have consistency in understanding the layers that go along with what you're doing? So, revenue problems that most people have are rhythm problems. Hey, Casey, what's going on? There, the rhythm problem. It's not the price, it's not the funnel or the tech. It's the timing, and it's the energy, and it's the burnout. Listen, I'm talking for experience. I'm talking from experience. When I realized that the reason why I was not gaining the amount of traction as far as the money that I needed, when I understood that it was because I was trying to sprint through every season without understanding the rhythm, not just of the product, but the rhythm of the marketplace, and not just the rhythm of the marketplace, but also my own personal rhythm. Like what seasons are you in? When are you the most creative? When can you have those conversations with people that help push your product along? So check this out. If your launch strategy leaves you curled up in the fetal position, you are not in alignment. You are out of rhythm. So check this out. Does your rhythm match your capacity and not that of the competitors? Again, I'm seeing time and time again a lot of people trying to match the launch sequences of people that they're following. And please understand, you don't have that capacity, nor do you have the team in many cases to handle that. And just think about it this way: if you were to make all of that traffic, or if all that traffic came in, would you even have the capacity to handle that at the moment? So your rhythm has to match your mental capacity. It has to it has to match your inventory capacity. It has to match the bandwidth, and it has to match whether or not you actually have the wherewithal within yourself to make it happen. So let's talk about a framework that you can use to establish rhythm. First, you need to establish an offer that you can deliver with excellence. An offer that you can deliver with excellence. You also need to have an audience that's warm and ready. So that means you have to do what we call chum the waters. You have to have dropped a lot of content in order that your people are warm and receptive for when you actually drop what your offer is. And then three, you need to build a cadence that builds trust and anticipation. A cadence that builds trust and and anticipation. So funnels work best when they ride the wave of the rhythm. No rhythm, no wave. No wave, no momentum. I often talk about momentum for me looks like the waves in the ocean. And my goal is just to get you to the beach, which is my ecosystem. Because I have a lot of different products and services in the marketplace, don't necessarily care what you came into the ecosystem on, just as long as you hit the ecosystem. Content for me is based around, do I have small rocks or do I have large rocks? Large rocks or large boulders are huge launches. They create the momentum, they move things down the line, the surf goes. Or you can continually drop content, continually build the trust and build the anticipation so that when it's time for the surfer, your customer, your client, to jump on the wave that brings them to your ecosystem, that stuff is already there. So remember this though, do not confuse movement with momentum. Do not confuse movement with momentum. A lot of people think that a tremendous amount of talking, a tremendous amount of content, a tremendous a lot of just being out there is actual momentum. And in fact, that's just busy work and having momentum. When your message and your model and your energy line up, then the money moves with ease. So, point five, consistency comes from clarity, not hustle. Let me tell you this: I gotta pause. I gotta pause for myself. Consistency comes from clarity, not hustle. When you have been trained in your life that if you make a lot of movement, then a lot of things will happen. The more you hustle, the more money you make. And again, the name of one of my companies is Black Hustle. I believe in hustle, but I believe in intentional hustle. I believe in hustle that has a point. Hustle for me is what makes me get up in the morning on those days that I'm super tired, not hustle that's going to keep me up for 90 days at a time. So when your hustle has to have some consistency, and the consistency only comes when you gather and have clarity. Clarity on the product, clarity on the why, clarity on the win. What is the WIN? How do I know that my offer or my service has done the job that it's supposed to do? That's the win. You can't scale what you haven't stabilized. So the rhythm protects your legacy. You cannot scale what you have not stabilized. While the funnels will give you cash, it's the rhythm that gives you the continuity. The funnels give you cash, but it's the rhythm that gives you the continuity. And if your business doesn't respect your boundaries, it's just a job with invoices. So remember this, because I said I was only going to do this for 15, 20 minutes. You don't need another launch. You really need another level of alignment. You don't need another launch. You just need another level of alignment. And so, people, that's it for me. Peace. I'm opening up a new membership, if you will, a group. But it's more than a group. I'm building a new family. I'm building a table. It's called The Exchange. BlackHustle.com. Join The Exchange. This is just my way of making sure that I give back and put something in the community. It is not free, but it is not a whole lot of money. This is how you will have access to not just me, but on my teams as we work through building up these next set of 14 companies that we're working with right now. So, all right, that's all I got to say. Yeah, that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. You need consistency and understand that the way for you to make money is going to be not in the funnel, but in the rhythm that you create. All right, God bless. Peace.